This is gonna be weird.
It might be okay.
No, it's just I think. Well, you said you watched this once a long time ago, so that's the only black and white Doctor Who you ever watched, correct? Incorrect.
Yeah, just
Incorrect. Correct.
Just the caveman story.
Just okay, yeah. So that's the one we're doing tonight. But we've got to get it out of the way.
Okay.
And it is only 4 parts. I was there remembering it. Well, technically it's only 3 parts. Because the first part has nothing to do with the caveman.
Yeah, the first part was just...
The first part's the pilot. The first part is the start of the show.
It wasn't a really good pilot, though.
No?
Well,
I remember it being good. I've watched this one quite a few times, to be honest. I remember loving the first episode and then hating the rest of it. Of this story.
Okay.
However, next time, we do have 7 episodes.
Okay.
I'm not going to reveal what it is until towards the end. I can't even say the title because it just gives it away. So, today, however, we are back with Volume 3 of an Introduction to Doctor Who. So technically the 3rd series of our little reaction thing.
Which begs the question, why didn't we start with this one at the very beginning?
Because I asked you which Doctor you wanted to see and you said Tom Baker.
And now we know.
I think that is. I have a very crappy memory, so I might be wrong, but that's how I remember it. If I've ever mentioned it in the Tom Baker reactions, someone let us know if you can be bothered to go back and check it. So, yeah, so we're doing it in the wrong order.
Yeah.
So you chose a Doctor, then I chose a Doctor, and then we figured because it's the first Doctor coming back at Christmas, we'd go all the way back. And it's also fitting that we've just done the last series, we're going to go do the first series. Yeah. Anyway, we're on the Unearthly Child, let's just go.
The first ever opening.
Yeah, it's a lot more... I like retro music in a way. It's just a lot more chilled. Okay. if I'm correct though, the vortex in the background was done just by holding an old camera up to the TV and you get that weird...
Yeah, and they just made it black and white and just...
Oh, they didn't just make it black and white.
It is in black and white.
They only had black and white. There was no colour at this point.
Very shaky camera work there.
Yeah, you're going to see that a lot in this era. This was the 60s. This is even older than Tom Baker. But, do you recognise this junkyard we're at? Just by that gate. I'm guessing not.
I want to say with the Doctor and Rose.
No.
No? Okay.
Within classic Doctors that we've watched.
Oh.
Recently. Within the last Doctor. It's the junkyard from the 7th Doctor Dalek episode.
Alright.
Where they first saw the Dalek and they blew it up.
Oh, I didn't realise that was a junkyard. I thought that was an army base.
No, it was
just...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a junkyard.
So I will say that intro kind of had nothing to do with anything that's really going on yet, but it kind of set things up, so I can let it off.
Susan's an old name, isn't it?
It's a very traditional name, definitely. My nan's name is Susan.
So's mine.
Don't call Susan. It's an old-fashioned name.
That would be absolutely impossible, as her grandfather didn't like strangers.
He's a doctor, isn't he? That's a bit of a lame excuse.
No, I didn't take too much notice, but then recently
he might not be a medical doctor that sees patients.
Well, finally, I got so irritated with all her excuses.
The doctor of art.
Does he have a PhD?
No. He might actually. He's lived a long time.
I got the address from the secretary.
From what I remember, no.
And I went along there one
Ask her point blank?
No, I thought we could drive there, wait till she arrives and see where she goes.
Right.
Stalking.
You're not doing anything.
No, I'm not.
Pretty much, yeah.
So they have
It's-
nothing to do
It was
better
the,
to
it was
stalk
it was the
teenagers.
it was the 60s.
And how
You
is she
could-
meant to be 15? Christ, that is a long neck.
Oh shit.
It's
Fair enough.
like a giraffe.
It's quite low. Well, I don't
Very,
know.
okay,
Maybe,
it's slender.
okay.
That'd be fabulous.
I think no, maybe she looks about 16, 17. She does look like a bit of a teenager. Maybe they're pulling it for the 15.
Yeah.
The stage.
Thank you. It will be interesting. I'll return it tomorrow.
That was a very ominous. It will be interesting.
Susan,
I shall change the
it's going to lift
past.
home. I've got room for one more.
No, thank you.
She has the ability to.
I rather like walking.
You call that art?
Actually, some people probably.
Yeah,
would.
yeah.
What is she? Oh, she's doing.
Do you see it? Do you see an insect? Do you see a brain?
Yeah.
Or do you
yeah,
see
there's
a
an-
line
there's-
hitting each other?
There's a well, you don't drool over it afterwards, but yeah, that there's a character, Rorschach,
Yeah, he was in Watchmen.
but that's what it's called, a Rorschach test. Rorschach. That word test.
Just a curiosity.
Yeah, you can.
Homework.
Just an excuse, really. I've seen far worse. The truth is,
Well, he's more. I
curious
think
about
he's
Susan
more
won't
on
be
the
happy
side
with
of
her
like,
own
let's just go home.
Mm.
You're fussing over nothing.
I thought I was just saying that we'd blame the fact that a 15-year-old girl does
Oh.
not know how many shoes
noticed
there are
that?
in a pound.
Oh, but then back
Yeah.
then they were even more on a time frame than like in the other ones.
Yeah.
So most 90% of the time. Did you watch?
This is all first take and only
Yeah,
take.
yeah. Did you watch the Adventure in Space and Time? That documentary where they sort of looked back at the first Doctor's actor?
No.
Oh, we'd have to watch it. It was released around the time of the 50th.
Okay.
The guy who's playing the first Doctor in this Christmas one
Mm.
played him in that.
Okay.
The thing about this girl makes sense.
She got a whole blinking thing going on.
Yes, it's a bit obvious, isn't it? Well,
He blinks too
I'm not
much.
being rude, but couldn't we deal with reactive chemicals and get on with something else?
She does.
See?
She
Now you
does.
see it.
She does. She blinks a lot. Is that meant to be acting nervous?
These simple experiments are child's
I hope so.
You know, it's
I don't want to keep saying that
Yeah,
all the
no,
time.
but you can't. You've got to judge this with even less harshness
Okay.
A,
than
B, and C is the
Okay.
everything we've seen to this point.
Alright, I will.
See her?
Yeah, she's right fucking in front of us.
See her? She probably sees us with the headlights flashing directly in her face.
Working overtime.
Look, can we go in now? I hate to think of her alone in that place.
If she is alone. Look, she is 15. She might be meeting a boy. Do you beg me to you?
I almost hope she is.
You do?
Well, it would be so normal.
This was back in the 60s as well.
Silly.
I thought there'd be a bit more, you know.
As if we're about
Yeah,
to interfere
uptight
in
about
something
it.
that is best left alone.
Or was that 50s?
I suppose they're not assuming they're having sex. I suppose they're assuming they're making out.
Oh.
Again, it was an innocent time.
Yeah. Well, they are certainly more creative with their camera work.
Might not be able to afford tripods. So you just got to have.
No, I know, but I like
Okay.
what they're doing with it.
Yeah.
It's not just a simple, oh, hold that camera in the corner of the room.
Sometimes it will be like that.
What?
That.
Well, use a
It's
match.
a police box. What on earth are you doing here?
Well done, you.
So you got to think. Yeah. This is the time where the police boxes were actually on the street. So why would it be in a junkyard?
Oh, okay.
A faint vibration.
Giggly.
And people's perception in the 60s were 10 times as bad, 10 times worse.
Oh, so
than-
the doctor can't see them.
He hasn't seen them yet, I don't think. No.
Oh.
Not. I think he might.
Well, there you are.
There. So.
Is it reasonable to suppose that anybody would be inside a cupboard like that?
Is it therefore unreasonable to ask you to let us have a look inside?
You have no right to be here.
He got you there. Got you there.
Trespassing.
Teachers from the Coal Hill School. We saw her come in and we haven't seen her leave.
As soon as they said from the school, the look on his face is just like,
You leave here.
fuck's sake.
Not until we are
That's why
satisfied
you're
that
here.
Susan isn't in there.
We
And I
saw
don't...
her come in and we haven't seen her leave. Naturally,
We better find a policeman.
Very well.
And you're coming with us.
That's a Tom Baker sort of sound.
Ooh.
I think
But it wasn't, because it was before Tom
I
Baker.
know.
We can't leave him here.
I'm watching him in the run order, it's fine.
Yeah.
I should be here when you get back. I want to see your faces. I'd like to explain away your behavior to a policeman.
Nevertheless, we're going to get one. Come on, Barbara.
what you doing out there, Grandfather?
Go back inside.
Sake, Susan!
Barbara!
Really? Plant?
Is there home?
Is that a big giant bong in the corner? Is that,
I think it. I
is it a lampshade?
don't know what it's meant to be. It looks like a lampshade.
But they got lights all around.
They're two of my school teachers.
Little
He just
Balls
liked.
on the
He just
floor.
liked the look of it.
The word of it's true. You don't know what you've done coming here.
What have they
Grandfather,
done?
let them go now. Don't you see
They've
they don't
discovered
think they
aliens
can
when
be
humans aren't meant to know of
I
alien
know
life.
these Earth people better than you. Their minds reject things they don't understand.
That doesn't stop him from going to the past
No.
later on though, does it?
Hmm.
You can't keep us here.
Or even
Susan,
they've just discovered an alien technology and they could go to the authorities.
Maybe.
I'm not.
She says she was born in the 49th century.
Come on, let's get out of here.
You can't.
That's
get out.
probably the time Gallifrey is. Before the Time War. And then the Time War happened in time, so it's stretched throughout time. It's a time war.
So, in about 2,000 years, there'll be Time Lords hopefully around us.
You.
We can hope.
Something when we came in
And that's
here.
when the Doctor is. But
What's
no,
over here?
because if there was, why
Which is it?
haven't they come back yet? They can travel through time.
Patrol that opens the door.
You still think this is a trick?
I know the free movement in the fourth dimension.
Because they
of
saw
space and
Earth
time
and
was
thought,
scientific
fuck
law. I
that
didn't
shit.
expect to find solved in a
Ian, are you all right?
That was some fine sound engineering there.
That is quite dark for the Doctor there.
You can't.
Doctor's a bit of an asshole.
Grandfather, let them go. Let us.
Think what would have happened to the ancient Romans.
It could change time. If someone thinks it could be possible, they might accidentally invent time travel early.
Child, we both know that we cannot let our secret loose into the world of the 20th century.
You can't keep them prisoners here.
Do you want a bet, girl? Do you know how big this ship is? I could throw them in that hole and we'd never see them again.
If I have to use force to get out of here, I will, you know.
Maybe we've stumbled on something beyond our understanding.
See the first faint glimmering.
Why is he telling you? Why?
You're not helping, grandfather.
You know too much.
No, you don't.
Doctor Who. Starring William Hartnell. We just had Carol Ann Ford, but this is the point her name would pop up in the title sequence. Okay, I think this is dragging on a little bit.
We get it, you got through the vortex.
Yeah. This was fancy back in the day. But even I will admit that dragged on a little bit. Oh, at least she got the chair. So,
But now other humans have done that.
it's a very, very bumpy ride. The Doctor cannot fly the TARDIS at all at this point. It's literally every trip is random. Oof. I liked that. I don't know if that's just nostalgia because I've watched that first one a lot.
Yeah.
But it had a very charming feel to it.
I don't know. If that were me watching it, the pilot doesn't seem to sell it.
In terms of story.
Yeah.
Okay. There was not much exciting happened, I'll give you that. It was a lot about the dialogue. But I don't know, they didn't have any kind of effects or a budget for any kind of action type things back then. So you've kind of got to expect these ones to be a lot more dialogue heavy.
Okay.
Unfortunately for us who talk a lot.
Yeah. But we can multitask.
But this might hopefully help us tone it down to just making jokes rather than going into conversations about stuff. But no, yeah, actually no, I'm gonna say we rate this one separately. Because the next 3 episodes have nothing to do with what's just happened apart from the fact that
They landed there.
it's the same 3 characters, we've been introduced to them.
Okay.
And whatever repercussions of the fact that 2 humans have suddenly gone to a new time.
I don't know how to rate it. I really do not know how to rate it.
I mean, we don't have to be serious with the ratings.
Am I comparing it?
I don't know if I've said it in Doctor Who, I've said it in other reactions, but never take our ratings to heart. Our rate is just our initial thoughts out of 10 after watching it.
I don't have any other Doctor Who episodes
Black
to
and white
to
to go
compare it with.
Okay, so would you... See, because then we'll get to episode 4 and I'll say rate the entire story and you'll say, I don't know, I don't have any other stories that are in black and white to compare it with.
Yeah, but I can compare it to the first episode.
Yeah. You could compare the other episodes to the first episode, which I'm going to say the first episode is the best of the lot.
Right.
Which is why I've watched the first episode many times. I haven't...
What would you rate it? First ever episode. And I want you to tell me why.
Without the nostalgia factor, maybe. Okay, so I don't know how much 60s sort of shows have you ever watched? How much black and white stuff have you ever watched?
Let's just say none.
You uncultured swine!
I've seen, movies in black and white, but I haven't seen programs in black and white.
Okay, but movies in black and white, did that have the same sort of feel to it?
No, a lot of these movies were more...
Not in tone,
music.
not in tone, but in terms of acting. Did the acting does that feel like the type of acting from the 60s, from black and white acting? Is that what it feel like? What?
Reasonably, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So they feel So that's just what the acting was like in the time.
Okay.
So I've watched like classics.
So if we ignore the acting, or that is a good standard.
Okay. We can point out really hammy and really cringeworthy stuff just to take the piss.
Right.
But in terms of like, try and look for more of the good in the acting than the bad. If you see something that is literally just like, alright, tone that shit down, mate. There's a guy there like going, I will take over the world! Do you get what I mean?
Sounds like the master already.
Yeah, but he's not that... Well, actually...
Yeah.
The master's meant to be hammy, though. Like...
And a bit camp.
Yeah. But,
Okay, what would you rate it as?
it. With the nostalgia factor, I'd probably go with maybe an 8.
Okay.
But if I'm trying to think of it as... But I am taking into consideration what other shows from that era I've seen are like.
That's fine, that's a good way to compare it.
So, that's the kind of acting. So I'd just say that's average acting.
Okay.
That William Hartnell and... No, Susan was a bit... Susan, she's young though, so we can forgive her. She's getting into it. Barbara seemed a bit bland. I liked Ian's acting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I can kind of ignore the No, well, sometimes I can notice the jerkiness of the camera.
Okay. Not lying, but I do
You liked-
remember.
You liked some of the shots. That one shot where it was
Yeah,
creeping in
yeah.
from behind.
Yeah, I do like that shot.
So maybe
Well, I have seen some old westerns programs.
Okay.
So based on that, purely on that, which actually did have a higher budget, I would rate Doctor Who as a 6.
This episode.
Because I'm rating it
That's-
based on more higher budget,
Okay.
but I have
Okay.
seen black and white in that.
That is about the rating I would have given without the nostalgia factor.
Alright. Although you would have given it a 7.
No, I would have. It's above average.
Mm.
So, I have seen and we will see a lot worse. This arc.
You're gonna go downhill
okay.
really quickly.
This run is gonna be possibly tedious for us at some points.
Okay.
If it gets too bad, we might pack it in after the first series and then come back at a later date.
Okay.
But we're gonna do at least one series and then we can move on to a different Doctor. Possibly no, we're not gonna go from first Doctor to second Doctor because I want to keep the whole
Randomness.
random wibbly wobbly timey wimey. So we could either go for 3, 5, 6, or if we want to take a break, we could do the 8th because there's literally
the movie.
the movie.
Yeah.
I do want to try an audio book,
Yes.
and there's the
Well, with the audiobook, we can't say
Regenerations.
anything then.
yeah.
Because that's all we
because
got, really.
we will listen and we'll try and picture it. We could always say what we're kind of imagining, maybe, and if there's something that is funny or we can take the piss out of, we can try. I want to attempt it. I want to attempt and see how we do.
Okay.
But that's going to be a long, long, long time away. We've still got the first Doctor to get through. We've done the first episode
Yay.
of a lot. So, cavemen.